Hello friends and welcome to another Dune video. Today we look at Arakeen Palace on Arrakis. It's counted as the most colossal structure in all of known human history. It was made during the reign of Paul on the Golden Lion throne. The money behind it, to get this enormous structure built, was taken from the sale of spice once the Atreides had ascended to power. During this period, factors of the jihad and the demands placed on the guild inflated the value of spice. This second part was encouraged by the new emperor. The labour for this edifice came from planets conquered by the Fremen during this jihad and brought to Arrakis, and many other structures built into the palace, the parts, the materials, were also brought by the guild from other planets. Inside, despite Ixian space heaters, it was still cold, as anyone will know if they've gone into an old stone-built building like a church. As well, in the vast space are trees from many worlds. Paul comes out to sit on his throne during public audiences, and there are further reception halls and places to meet. A whole wing is dedicated to his personal guard, the Arakeen. Rumour, untrue, is that he keeps a stunted worm surrounded by a water moat with which to poison it in the bowels of Arakeen, and there he reads the future. Now Paul travels back and forth from Sietch Tabr on an ornithopter, and there is a landing area coming out from the inner wall where it can land. We have the experience of walking down the hall from the perspective of an aged Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mahayam, who it said she went along seemingly endless vaulted passages lit by triangular metaglass windows and paved with tiles figuring water creatures from exotic planets. She was impressed by the immensity of this citadel, then oppressed by it. In her passage, she also noted oval doors with winking lights, recognizing them for Ixian handwork, pneumatic transport orifices. Then, nearer the hall dedicated to grand receptions, the passages became larger in subtle ways, and she then came to the double doors to the hall. The Dune Encyclopedia tells us the doorway stood at least 80 metres high, half that in width. The doors swung inward, operated by Ixian machinery, immense and silent. Inside the distantly placed dome, it was supported by beams, and this spoke of genius engineering. And sitting at the far end on a green throne, cut from a single emerald, was the Emperor Paul Muad'dib. From his quarters, he could see a gentle arc of a footbridge constructed of crystal, stabilized gold and platinum, decorated by fire jewels from far Kedon. From there, you could reach the inner city. Of pools and fountains, he could also see squares as large as cities, parks, premises, bits of cultural wilderness, a postern from most ancient Baghdad, a dome dreamed in mythical Damascus, an arch from the low gravity of Atar, all creating an effect of unrivaled magnificence, mixed with barbarity, in which superb artistry would mix with inexplicable prodigies of dismal tastelessness, and many orchards and groves there, thanks to how much Paul now spent in water, were able to grow and thrive. Ali's temple was also built nearby. Its doors were large enough to let in a cathedral number of people. Now some say that Paul's palace in Arakeen is made in the style of Solomon's temple, and another myth associated with it is that the construction of the palace was aided by Paul commanding sandworms to bore through the rock so that the foundation could be laid. Paul did this by allying himself with the great leader of the sandworms, the grandfather of the desert, as the Fremen call him. But that, of course, is just a myth. And that, friends, is where I will end today's video.